Ode to an Unknown line, as told by the Hawks.
Well, hello there. In this video, I want to talk about the Altai Hawk ski shoes from the perspective of a cross-country downhill skier. And they are called ski shoes or ski raquettes to the Francophone folks because they combine elements of snowshoes and skis. So what they are is a very short, fat ski with a built-in skin that is not removable right underfoot in the grip zone of the ski. So on a video I posted a few weeks ago where I reviewed the Fisher Easy skins on my S-Bound 98s, a commenter mentioned that these Altai Hawk skis would have been perfect for that particular day, and I totally agree. But I didn't choose to use the Hawks that day because I didn't really think that I would be needing a skin. Most of the time, I don't. But my experiences that day, as well as the commenter, made me want to take my Hawks out again, give them a spin, and see exactly what I should be using them for. I've actually had the Hawks longer than I've had any of my other cross-country downhill skis, and I would even say that they were my gateway into cross-country downhill, but I don't end up using them very often.
Well, let's call that a success.
That doesn't mean that they wouldn't be useful to you in your particular skiing context. So the purpose of this video is to highlight exactly what you might want to use these for. Most of this video was shot on a fairly warm, maybe just slightly above freezing day in early February. Very sunny, bluebird as you can see, with a little bit of fresh snow sitting on top of a supportive base. I would say that describes the ideal snow type for just about any cross-country downhill ski, and the Hawks are no exception. That last clip though, you could see that I was struggling to get momentum on a somewhat steep run. This one though, a little steeper and sitting in the sun, worked perfectly.
It's taken some getting used to. I haven't used my Hawks in a while. This is the first time this year, I think. And I don't know that I need them. Conditions would be pretty good on a more glidey ski. I just want to get a feel for them again. Remember their advantages and disadvantages. They're very turnier than any of my other skis. So thought maybe in the tight pinions here they'd be useful. But it takes some getting used to. They'll turn right out from under you. You also have to find something a little steeper to use them on. But I don't think I'd use any of my other skis on that run right there. So they definitely have their uses.
I'm going to show a few clips now of me downhill and uphilling on what is for me a relatively steep run. On this particular day I might have felt somewhat uncomfortable with my other skis on this, but with the Hawks I thought it was pretty manageable.
Well, using the Hawks might force me to correct some of my errors. I can feel that if I kind of put the rear ski too far behind me, with it being short, only 145 centimeters, it starts to kind of tip dive and get gobbled up in the powder. So I have to keep that rear ski really under me and weighted. So that'll be a good habit to be forced to get into. I'm using T2s, Scarpa T2 plastic boots today, and just a 3-pin connection. Okay. Nice and turny, nice and grippy. start using these more.
Here you'll be able to see roughly the slope angle that I was just skiing. And another run for good measure.
And by the way, there's plenty glidey on these packed snowshoe trails. Whenever you get a little bit of down, you get the glide. When you have some up, you almost don't even need poles to help. Plenty of kick, not as much glide, but the amount of kick can make up for that. The ski you can pretty much run in if you loosen your boots up enough. Or have low enough boots. Either way. Really, kick and glide is not that bad on a trench like this, where the skis can't stray. The one issue I've had is I'm kind of tall and these are kind of short, so with my stride being a little longer, I have hooked the tip of the ski under my opposite boot, which resulted in me eating it, so to speak. But that's a user error. I can figure out how to be aware of it and not do it. But these are fun. They're fun and maybe a little more entry level for some people that need that, which is probably all of us at some point. Maybe depending a bit on our skiing background prior to taking up telly or cross-country downhill. Well, this is a pretty low angle slope here, but I've been putting my mark on it all winter long, so it's packed down decently well. And there have been days where it feels uncomfortable to ski that on my other skis, because I'd just be flying along. I don't think today is one of those days, but on the Hawks, it felt very controlled.
The rest of the clips in this video are going to be from different days now, so in conditions that weren't as ideal as that first day. And it's a little complicated to try to quantify what exactly makes for perfect snow conditions. There are just too many metrics to consider, like how soft the snow is, how turny it is, how supportive it is, how fast it is. And this is affected by too many things like temperature, freshness, how much that slope's been skied on before, and things like that. If you're going to be using the Altai Hawks as a snowshoe, you probably only need some supportive snow. But if you're using it as a downhill ski, then you really need supportive and soft and fast snow in order for these to work properly.
That's crazy. Okay, we're gonna do the line I just did. This time I can get a tiny bit of a running start. Doesn't matter, still getting stopped by the snow.
As a control, I ran back to the car to put on my Mad Shoes Anims 195 centimeters scaled ski. And I skied them more conservatively, and even so, you could see that I got a lot more momentum on that run. The skis kind of planed a little bit. And now you're seeing me with the Hawks on a different day on kind of a somewhat collapsible wind slab. And considering the slab and all the recent wind loading that had taken place, This was a pretty steep run and about as steep as I would ever feel comfortable on in these conditions. For a couple turns, the Hawks worked really well, and then I just didn't have enough speed to stay on top of the slab. I was breaking through, as you can see, and just kind of stepping down the slope. So I went back for the Anims again for comparison, and you'll be able to see now kind of how they toured. I was struggling in this spot. It took me maybe about a minute to get past that one little kick turn there, just because the scales really don't grip as well as the skin. But eventually I made it up, and you'll be able to see I had a lot more momentum coming back down with the Anims. So it's time I start to summarize my thoughts. If you're a snowshoer, say, and you want to keep snowshoeing but maybe with a little extra efficiency, a little extra glide, then the Hawks are the ski for you. They're great for that. Taking things up a notch, let's say you want to start cross-country skiing, but you want something that's going to be a little slower. Maybe you're elderly and you want something that's wider, stable platform, and you don't really need any speed. Then these will be a nice, slow cross-country ski for you. I wouldn't really consider them a cross-country ski, but if you're just entry level and you're wanting to stay slow, then yeah, they'll suit that purpose. And now let's say you're a cross-country downhill skier, and you're all about doing a little bit of vertical for some speed on the down. In perfect conditions, the Hawks are great for that. They're a nice, surfy, turny ski. They'll be a lot of fun, and nothing is going to get you back up that hill for a yo-yo lap faster than the Hawks. No transition, you don't have to put a skin back on or anything like that. Maybe this will be a helpful analogy. I think of the Altai Hawks as kind of the Jeep of skis. They're short, they're maneuverable, they can get you up and down, and when the going gets tough, this is what you want to have. If you want them to be your daily driver, they can do that too, but they might not be the best tool for that job. You might want something a little sportier, a little faster, and that's where your other cross-country skis come in. I hope this video can be helpful in kind of demystifying a very unique kind of ski.